Welcome to my channel. This is Mario Lloyd, also known as Real Estate Guru PK. On this channel, we talk about my real estate endeavors. We also have the top real estate producers and the top entrepreneurs in the country. Be sure to click the link below with Justin P. with his Support Black Colleges marketing course. Also with Jason White's Crack the Code affiliate link, click that below as well. Also to support the channel, Webull, M1 Finance, Chase, Discover, Robinhood, and Public, a stock trading app. We hope you enjoyed this episode. This is Real Estate Guru PK signing out.
Welcome to another podcast. The channel is a Real Estate Guru PK on YouTube. Please like, subscribe, and follow. We got a guest here this afternoon, and he goes by the name of Coach Austin. You can find him on Instagram. I think it's Coach Austin.
Yeah, Coach John Austin.
Coach John Austin. Here to drop a lot of gems. Coach John Austin is his background in real estate.
Yeah.
And we'll get a little bit more into that in detail.
Yeah.
But just to give the audience a quick rundown, Coach Austin is your business coach.
Yeah.
He's the gentleman you want to talk to when it comes to any aspect of your business. And just from a brief conversation we had, I feel like he knows what he's talking about. Mm-hmm. So we'll jump right on into it. I think Mario wanted to start at in the beginning.
Yeah, in the beginning.
Yeah. And talk a little bit about how you get to the point of becoming Coach Austin.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, sir.
All right.
Go ahead.
So, I mean, it was interesting because I've been in real estate since I was a kid. My family's been in real estate all my life. So my summer jobs was pouring concrete, setting farms, working with my grandfather on my dad's side. So fast forward to, mom said, no, you're going to go to college to be a doctor, be a nurse. I'm like, all right, okay, you don't tell mom no. So went from LSU to USL, played Alpha at 97 at USL. Shout out to all the Alphas out there. D9 family. Moved out to Houston, worked in the medical center. All right, took a while to get in there. Now, while I'm working in the med center, made it from the ER into cancer research. I'm flipping houses part-time, right? Mm-hmm. And it's cool, right? Good salary at Baylor, flipping houses, I'm good. One day I walk in as a pink slip. I'm like, wow, this 6-figure salary went right out the door. What do I do?
What year was this?
This was 02.
Okay.
Right? 02, 03-ish. So I'm laid off, depressed as heck for a week. Cause like, how do I tell? I got baby girl just came, right? So my daughter was born not too long after that. So it's like, wow, what do I do? Well, real estate is what I know. I call my grandmother and she's like, baby, go do what you know. Mm-hmm. So start building up a real estate portfolio, buying houses, what they call off market, flipping them, renting some of them out, you know what I'm saying? And then the real estate crisis of 08, 09 with the whole Lehman Brothers situation. Yep. We got a call, and I don't say this publicly, we got a call early into it, like things about to hit the fan. You might want to start dumping these houses. I'm like, I'm not dumping no houses. Cat hangs up the phone on me. Calls me back the next day. So you ready to listen now? I say, oh, yes, sir. Things are not looking good in this market. It's pretty right now. Start dumping these houses. Mm-hmm. The day Lehman fell, we had our last closing. We scathed that because if not, I'm holding all this property. There's no way in the world I'll be bankrupt and be in some kind of yeah. So we were able to get away from that, maneuver into the green commercial space. Started a green commercial technology phase. If you ever Google NASCO Leeson project, this was 09. We were on the board of directors for NASCO. $1.2 billion project is what we're working on there in that South Dallas area. Phenomenal time. So that's how things started. That's what we were, and that's where the real estate really started taking off to more of an international brand, because we were bringing in a green product that was only used for international homes, desks, kind of like an IKEA product.
Sure. But
it was a laminate feature, very light, hurricane cat 4 proof, fire retardant, all of that. So we went to the company and said, hey, we can build a building out of this. And we started getting spec for it, and the city approved it. And that's what made it one of the first real green projects before anything really got sexy and green. Mm-hmm. We were looking into that as far as, and it made it a real project. But the project got too big for us. We were raising our own money, got around a hedge fund that we didn't realize was doing some wrong things, got falsely imprisoned behind that mess. It was crazy. That was the worst time.
What year is this?
This was 14, 15.
Really?
Yeah. Yes. So
not that long ago.
So talk about a little bit, I know it's hard to fathom that idea when you go from an educated man working in making money, and then real estate is your side money. You're developing your personal wealth, and then you get into this thing where it seems like it's even bigger, even grander.
Yeah.
And then you fall into an area where you probably want to forget about it, but it probably taught you some lessons along the way, I'm sure.
Oh gosh, I mean, it really did, because I'll be honest. Sometimes I look at it where it was my ego so big, where I wouldn't let other people help me. How did I not see this coming? I relied on people who I found out later on weren't in my best interest. They may have seen it happening, because when I got arrested, my business partner, who was supposed to be at that meeting, wasn't. Was never late, and all of us, so you look back and things, are what they are.
So somebody told him, gave him a heads up, or he just saw it coming?
Yeah, I think she saw it coming. She knew it was coming. I think she knew this hedge fund wasn't right because it was her referral. And normally we vet people a certain way. We send them through legal, all that kind of good thing. And this was somebody she knew. I'm like, hey, look, okay, if you know them, we need this money down to make this project work. We had our own money coming in, so they were going to bring in the other half. And
what they charge you with, or what they arrest you with?
It ultimately ended up being conspiracy.
Okay.
They're like, well, how do you not know that these people were laundering money? I'm like, I don't work for these people.
Yeah.
Well, if you tell us what you know, we'll let you go home. Where I'm from and wherever a lot of us from, you like, man, look, I'm gonna go sit down, because there's nowhere in the world, because my name and just the moral compass of where we're from, a lot of us are from. Even if I did know, which I didn't know anything, I went back and I'm like, what did he want me to know? And I called my mom, and she's like, don't take no wooden nickels.
No wooden nickels.
And I'm like, how you know I had that conversation? She's like, don't take no wooden nickels. Do what you got to do. Take your time. We know you are right. And I just sat out, and I had to fight that case for at least a good 20 months.
20 months?
I was at the detention center here in Conroe.
So you were in there for 20 months.
20 months. Lost like 35 pounds. It was bad, bro.
How much did that whole ordeal cost you?
Everything. Now, we did have things put away, safekeeping, that kind of thing. But everything was dumped into that one project. Everything that we had worked for was there. I learned a lot from it, because I would never take all of it on by myself. I had people working for me, but people were leeching that I found out later on. And you find out you're true friends when things get crazy.
You're married at this time, correct?
Yeah.
What was your wife saying?
She was interestingly way too upset. Didn't want to hear my side of it. I'm like, hey, call so-and-so, call so-and-so. She pulled away fast. And I'm like, wow. Cut off a lot of friends who were trying to get in contact with me. It was crazy. It was intensely crazy. So it was like, okay, me, I'm keeping touch with my daughter, over the phone. She never let him come see me at all. So it's just 3.5 years I could not see my kid, period. So it was tough. It was really tough.
Did you I always ask this question to anybody I know, that because that's federal prison, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
What
you learn in there?
Man, I don't know if we got enough time.
Just a couple points. I mean, because you actually learn a lot.
You learn how the system, and that is not an excuse, how the system is so crazy rigged for us to be set up for these things. Because I'm like, how were you watching me for that long? You knew this hedge fund was dirty. They were on bond, still doing their thing. They had been arrested prior to me meeting them. So they let them out on the street doing their thing. The prosecutor was like, well, you had to be the big fish because you're making this much money. How do you not know they're not this? I'm like, dude, you knew these people before I did.
Yeah.
So you see how the system is really set up, and you learn how to watch your back, slow down, and you can be as right as rain and still get caught up in that conspiracy word. Whoever's in the room, y'all all coming in. And until we figure out what we want to figure out, you're going to sit down and tell us what we want to know. Now, I could have lied and told them what they wanted to hear, because I knew what they wanted to hear. But
you could have told them what you thought.
That's I can figure out, okay, you want me to say this? I'll say it and roll. But no. Because to this day right now, I would not be able to honestly sit before you and be real about this is what happened. I go to work, take care of my kids. I was my kid's soccer coach. I took her to school, dropped them off, picked them up. I cooked, cleaned. I made sure that my daughter knew that daddy was daddy, and that was my dog. and loved to had daddy-daughter days and all that kind of thing. So what I learned is that there's a lot of people in there that should not be in there.
In prison.
Bro, yes. Some of the brightest, smartest, most intelligent men for like a little bit of that like stuff that these industries are making millions off of now, billions off of now. You giving a dude 10 years for that? You really serious right now? There's opioid crisis that we're in. So you learn how this United States of America corporation is set up. You learn a lot about the history of our people and how this country was built off of so many things. Mississippi cotton industry, it was a global juggernaut off of the backs of Black and brown people. Free wealth, free wealth built off of us. You learned a lot about how can I say this? You learn who your real dogs are. Yep. When you go in.
Touching base on what you're saying, I always say this. I want to say I always preach this, but we live in a system that's not set up for us to win.
Not at all.
But once you learn the rules of that system, you know how to play within them, then you can operate. You can manipulate it to your benefit. You learn those rules and you learn how that works. It's rough lessons.
Do you feel like you was a scapegoat?
I was a pawn for sure, a scapegoat most definitely. Because I also asked the prosecutor, you could have brought me in here and asked me these questions. Am I a notch on your belt? I mean, what is it? Right? And some of the answers he gave, and then one of the things he said to me, and I learned this in there, when they interrogate you, they bring you in at 4 a.m, no food, cold as heck. And he looked at me, I've never seen evil like that before. He said, who do you think you are running a company like that?
Yeah, you know where that's going.
And my lawyer grabbed my hand and my leg because he saw my hand just and I popped the chain under it. He's like, don't say nothing. Like, who do you think I am? Oh, I get it. Your $50,000 salary can't understand what this has done. So you not arrest me for what I did successfully. You set me up to give you what? I still don't know. So like I said, I'm going to go back and sit down. I'm not pleading out to nothing. I'm not signing nothing. We going to trial. And my lawyers put me into the back and he said, they're going to put you on the stand. We can go to trial, but you're a Black man in a suit, well articulated. That prosecutor is going to say one thing, and that jury who ain't your peers will see you as X, Y, and Z, no matter how great you are, and you're not coming out.
Essentially, you hang yourself.
You will. And I was I had my ego and I did not want to plea out for nothing. And it took them like 6 months to get the plea agreement to where I would at least be satisfied with that BS. And and at the end of it, I was just so tired. I was like, I can't fight no more. I'm like, Lord, just let this be something I can deal with. And on the inside, we started 10 businesses. There's guys who wanted trucking companies and this, that, and the third. So I went to visit with their families and hand wrote 10, 11 business plans. And to this day, they're still running.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So when you come out, where do we start to develop Coach Austin?
Coach Austin, really, just to back up a little, while the Green Project was going on, companies were hiring me on to consult with them. They're like, hey, how are you as a small firm like that, moving like you're moving? We talk, Chamber of Commerce meetings, things I teach to this day. You get in certain rooms where minority certifications are where there's a diversity situation. You can actually work with large companies being minority certified. I got my hub certification, state of Texas, 2006, when I first started. So I started working with these corporations and they were hiring me on to consult different things, how to be lean or how to have better processes, systems, that kind of thing. So I'm making more money. And it really, before the arrest, I was about to get out. I was about to just set off. I was like, I can't do it anymore. I'm done. So the meeting that I had that I got arrested at was actually a meeting like, if this meeting works, I'm gonna do it. If it doesn't, I'm fine. I'm already have sold out in my mind. I'm gonna focus on consulting. So the Coach Austin came. I was actually teaching football. I was coaching football players, youth, like middle school, high school, the fundamentals of the game that we learned.
Sure.
And one of my clients said, you should be coached 24/7. You coach football on business like you coach football. I hate you sometimes, but you bring so much out of me. You know what I'm saying? You should just be coached 24/7. That's where the coach came from. I know the word coach is kind of diluted nowadays, but that's where coach came from. So it's been there since even prior to this whole, that legal bump. So get out, start working. And I said, you know what, let's just do Austin Business Coaching. just go into coaching. That's what I like. That's what I do. I can get away from anything else crazy. I don't want to be far away from anything that they can say, oh, he's back at whatever, right? And from then until pre-COVID, because I didn't get online. I wasn't on social media at all.
Until about when?
Pre-COVID, right when COVID hit.
Oh, really?
Because I was on a project with Mitsubishi Caterpillar. Yeah.
2019, yeah.
So I had a project with Mitsubishi Caterpillar in their safety department because I'm safety certified. And in that project, I'm noticing that some weird stuff's coming from overseas. You kind of can see kids, cats getting sick. The boxes got this, I don't know, it feels like a powdery something. Like everybody's getting sick from these crates coming over. I'm like, man, something ain't right. And I had some clients overseas in Manila and whatnot. And I'm like, something ain't too right. And you start looking at the global landscape of things, which is why I like coaching and consulting so much. When you look at the global landscape of things, you can tell something's not right. And I said to myself one day, if what's going on over there in China happens over here, it's going to be some shit. It's going to be over. And not too long after that, COVID hit. And I had to go digital with my consulting brand because I can't meet, you can't move.
So you was ahead of the curve?
A little bit.
Honestly,
yeah, a little. And I learned that too with the market crisis. And if you really learn market trends, which is something that a business plan would teach, which we teach, when you do a feasibility study, a template business plan works fine, but it doesn't give you any real meat and potatoes, right? Even in real estate, you need to understand the market around you. So study your market globally and locally. And when you do that feasibility study, it'll teach you what's going on with that. So it gives you enough meat and potatoes to know how to move and where to move. So when COVID came, it was like, how do we maneuver there? So we were ahead of the curve a little. So we said, let's get on the IG. Let's get where we can promote the brand because you can't fly.
That's right.
You can't go anywhere. You can't meet. And then Zoom came in, all those kind of things. So we had to pick it up quickly. I mean, like fast.
Prior to you, switching over, I called, the COVID shift. Prior to that, you said you were, you weren't on social media and you did consulting. How did you solicit your services, or was it word of mouth? How did you move forward in your business without social media?
Really, really old school.
Yeah.
Most businesses operate within the procurement department, Chamber of Commerce, Urban League. There's so many different organizations that's right here in the city of Houston that you will see multi-million-dollar companies, guys that run these firms, project managers, that make great money. You never see them on social media.
Yep.
Because there's a traditional business model that really won't go away. Now there's a merge of social media with that to some extent to reach a greater audience. And Zoom and all that's not going away. But how I reach them is I just attend those Chamber of Commerce meetings. I would meet the city planner, very similar to real estate. Yep. If you go to a city planner meeting, they're planning out what's going on in the city of Houston 5 years out right now. So you attend those meetings, technically that's part of your market research. What's the city planning to do? What's the state of Texas planning to do? That T3 project with the Med Center, that's a multi-trillion-dollar project right there in the Houston Medical Center. When you find out how that's working and who's doing what, you can get in, get yourself a subcontract and be great with it. So that's really how I was able to get a warm market. There's a lot of women entrepreneurs. Again, one of the largest growing entrepreneur populations for a long time. I was around a lot of nurses. So I said, okay, let me get with these folks who are starting businesses, want to start businesses, need to advance their business. And with that healthcare spend, the doctors always hired a nurse to be an office manager. That's right. Zero business experience, but they trust them. So I said, well, let me come in and help your office manager be better at business. If I can bump your profit margin up X amount, well, you'll pay for my expertise and you have a better profit margin, I'm good. And that word of mouth takes off.
Oh, why do they call you the king of preparation?
It's the non-sexy stuff gets you paid. And I've been doing that since, real estate. You got to prepare the land. My grandfather's always been big on that. Before we go to a real estate site, he's like, look at this. What's going to happen here? And he had me visually lay it out. You're going to excavate the land. You're going to set the forms. You're going to pour the concrete and hit, and then you're going to have a vertical structure on top of it. If you don't see that vision laid out ahead of time and prepare, you will fail at something because you're going to miss something. And he would beat that over my head. If you don't prepare, you're going to fail somewhere. Business school, same thing. You have to have a plan in place. A lot of us want to go to YouTube and fast track it. Why so many businesses fail? And we found that they fail because you are lacking something in your planning. Coach, I didn't have enough money. Well, you didn't plan to have enough money. You didn't have a plan to have the right amount of money, the right staff. Those in that plan, that preparation takes you there. Let's talk about the athletes. You prepare years as a 100-meter guy, 200-meter guy for that 9-10 seconds. I mean, why does that change anything in business? You have to prepare for that one speech, that one-liner in the project in Dallas. I got because somebody heard me speaking. The guy called me a year later. Hey, we need a minority developer up here. Can you come through? We heard you speaking. Da 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 da. Yeah, it was a Friday afternoon. I packed my bags and took off. Came back that Monday with a contract in hand. All through preparation, because you need to stay, not try to get ready. You need to stay ready.
You have like a really, really close relationship with your grandma. Is that like a special relationship between the two of you, or is she like that with all the grandkids?
I was the first. So it was, she had her own special relationship with all of us. I will say that, because it was 6 boys and the last grandchild was a girl. So she had her own relationship. I guess me being the first and being around the longest, she always just had this thing with me. And that was my girl. Oh my God. When she passed, that was just, it took a lot. I still to this day, there's a lot of times I want to call her, no, that's one number I know. Everybody, you sort of forget phone numbers, but it was special because she taught me a lot, how to sew, how to clean, how to cook, things that in our culture men need to know. But grandma taught me those things, and she and I were always just close. I can call her and she knew what was going on before I said anything. And it was crazy how that worked out. But
you just wish I'm in the same scenario as you. You just wish that you could show her what you've done so far. Like, look, you wish you could pull up to the house and walk in, because my grandma used to always have food ready. I could pop up at 1 a.m. and she's gonna start cooking, and so you just wish you could pull up and tell her what you've done. So it's essentially generational progress. And you wish you could be able to share it with them.
Exactly. Yeah, just those things that she could see, and it was never about the money. I mean, she made great money because she was a seamstress, like the Vera Wang of our era, really. But it's never about the money. It's take care of the people that are around you, and they'll take care of you.
You talk about your mentees a lot about waking them early in the morning, like not so much 4 o'clock, but like 6 o'clock. And then you talk about like power naps and the importance of power naps. Why is it important to take naps throughout the day, like when you're sluggish or you feel like you want to just, like, your whole day is just slowing down because you're getting tired?
Success is, we'll hear slogans like success is a marathon, and it is. But you have to reset your body, and chemically and physiologically, you just can't run all day. Now, corporate America would have you do that, but then that's why you got a lunch break to some extent. So you want to push, and I have a thing where I would rather you push 30, 45 minutes, breathe. Hit it again, 30, 45 minutes, breathe. Take a power nap, rejuvenate yourself, hit it again. For me, that has worked wonders. And you get more done with less time.
Could you show like a 24-hour blueprint of like what people would need to do?
Oh yeah, you want to do it now?
Yeah.
All right, so a lot of people say, well, let's get up at 3, let's get up at 4. I get up before everybody else. You got to do what works for you. You got to do what your life can handle. Real talk. And this may throw some people off. Well, I get up at 5-4. Cool, that works for you. For me, sometimes I get up at 4, but I go to bed late though, because I study late. I'm a night owl with a little country boy still in me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm still used to hearing the roosters crow, and I'm up. So for that 6 o'clock time works for me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm up at 6. I have my own office, so I don't have to be in traffic. Thank God. So I schedule myself to where I'm up. I got my coffee. I'm reading Bloomberg Business, little Fox, little CNBC. Try to get the international news in, the local news in.
You listen to Kramer at all? Kramer?
Oh yeah, got all his old books. You know what I'm saying? So Mad Money at 5 o'clock is in my ear. If I'm not watching it, it's in my ear. You know what I'm saying? So I try to make sure I get a good dose of pre-market information, because I do a little bit of trading here and there. Shout out to my guy Lawrence, Ian Dunlap here in Houston. So I follow them tough, and I learn a lot from them. So I want to get my market in early. Then I start strategizing on my day. But what I do today, I plan it out yesterday. So I plan out my whole week a week in advance. Wow. I plan out my whole year in advance, honestly. So this is Q1. I'm doing now what I plan to do December, November of last year.
Do you have a secretary helping you with this, or this is just you?
Well, before I had a secretary, yes. Yes, it was all me. I always had a schedule. I had the old school calendar. Yep. Go to Walmart, Office Depot, and you plan it out. If you don't plan your days out, there's Eisenhower Matrix, and it's in one of our ebooks. It's in one of our time management ebooks. The Eisenhower Matrix has a quadrant, and it's set up to where it's urgent, not urgent, important, not important. Everything's gonna hit your desk as an entrepreneur. Your 911 is not my emergency, right? So you have to have a schedule of, I have to do this at this time, and unless the building's burning, I'm gonna call the fireman because I can't put out the fire. I got other things I have to do. So what's in the highest and best use of your time? For me, I strategize early, get my notes together. I may knock out some business plans because my mental capacity is really good early in the morning. I can knock out a lot in a couple hours. Then I might go on Clubhouse, I might go on social media, I might do some reading, I might make some phone calls. I do consultations between like 10 and 1 because I don't mind talking early in the day. After that, I'm strategizing for the next day, or I'm looking for things for a certain project for a client later in the day. My gym time is like between 3 and 5. You know what I'm saying? So when I'm leaving the gym or in the gym, I throw Kramer on at 5. I like to get my, old Pocky and some Bone Thugs, whatever, my ear when I'm in the gym. Don't mess with between 3 and 4 o'clock because I'm in that gym hard. Then after I'm finished at the gym, family time. Once the family's kind of dying down, then I may look back into the markets again, what's going on tomorrow. And that's basically a normal day for me. Some days may be more consultation than less, some more research than others. Some days I'm in the office, I close the door, I got the music blaring, and I'm heavy research all day. That might be a 16-hour day.
So you can read and listen to music at the same time?
Yeah. Certain music without the words.
Like classical?
Classical, Tibetan, harps, like the bowls and like the chanting type music. Yeah. I'll turn it on. Some house music. Again, no lyrics, just music. And I'll turn it up and I'll just get into the zone. I can hear it, but it doesn't distract me. Okay. But I know it works for me. And if I need to zone in, there's a way I get going with that. I might get a smoothie, I might get some water, kind of get my mind together. You know what I'm saying? I just go in. Now I have a staff. Got an office manager who's kind of like my vice president, if you will. Siobhan's over our grant department, so she does grants and research for us. Darius kind of back in. I've got 6 analysts now to help me build the business plans. We do have a trademark attorney on staff that we hire out. We got corporate attorney. So we got a good staff of people. For anything that you need, we have staff for it. But I had to do it first before I could hire it out. So that took time. Plus what I learned in the past, that was good, bad, or indifferent. Allowed me to have a really good staff now. We got a hell of a team now.
What kind of books do you read?
Bible first thing in the morning. Yeah, Bible, a little Quran too. When you learn your history, don't let religion fool you because the scripture is scripture across the board. 48 Laws of Power, really good book. There's a charting book that I'm reading now. I've got an audio file of probably, 600 different audio books that I listen to. Economics for Dummies, I'm reading now. Because now we're in this inflationary market, so you want to look at what's going on with quantitative easing. I read a lot of old history books that Europeans wrote from us when they burned that Alexandria library down. So there's a lot of our history that's out there that we didn't even write, but they stole it from us and wrote. I read more history than I do anything else, honestly. There's nothing new under the sun, and I like to read a lot of how math was created, how we did that from Kemet, how the Moors civilized Europe. A lot of that's the same stuff. The university system here, the Harvards and the Yales, came from Cambridge. That came from Cordova in Spain, which came from North Africa anyway. So all that knowledge is really just recycled. So I'm very careful what I read, but I read really any book I put my hands on. I just pick up anything financial, anything economic, different theory. I read a lot of stuff that Eric Thomas is speaking on, to see what drives people.
What 2 books or what 3 books have you read more than once?
48 Laws of Power, I probably read 20 times.
Yeah. Picks them up every time you read it again.
Yeah, every time, because there's always something different about it. How to Outwit the Devil is another.
Say it again. Which one is it?
Outwitting the Devil.
Okay.
Yeah, right. Powerful book. We'll look that up. And again, I read the scriptures more than anything. Honestly, good. I'm back for the scriptures a lot. So those 3, Outwitting the Devil is how do you read the scriptures and then outwitting the devil when you know how powerful that is? Yep. Your mind in and of itself. For me, it's not how many books you read. It is what books you read over and over again, but it's what's your foundational read. I read Economics for Dummies a lot. I read Finances for Dummies a lot. That For Dummies series is very, very underrated. There's a lot of basic information. And for me, it's the foundation. So those all of Jim Cramer's books, I read and almost have like a study guide off of them. It's a good foundation for the market. Money Master the Game is my second time reading it now. Tony Robbins, hell of a book.
Yep.
Hell of a book. I had to reorder it. I would say those would be my top 3.
Why is less more?
Being productive is fine. Being hyperly productive is better. We often hear the word niche down on your business, focusing on the niche. If I can do 1 or 2 things really, really, really good, better than anybody else, then you can't beat me at that. So I'm focused on the business plan, the market study, the numbers, the same things that make everyone else in business successful. Let me get a moat in that. Let me get a hyper focus on that. And the fact that the thing I'm focusing on, you can't get away from. You may want to. And what I've studied over time is that if you get away from planning, you get away from understanding your numbers and the market research, those 3 things will get you bank ready, right? That hyper focus, everything comes off of that like a house. You can't get away from the concrete. That's the foundation. So whatever your niche foundation is, you focus on that, make sure that's good, and you keep researching it. People kind of laugh at the research thing. Don't get too caught up in the research. Okay. keep thinking you can't, because if you don't research and evolve, you will be in something in this market. Because somebody's learning something and go pass your butt up.
I call it evolve or die.
You have to evolve or die. So it's constantly pivoting, constantly evolving, constantly honing down like a workout. You see any cat in the gym that's squatting, you can see the ones that haven't squatted for long. You can see the ones that have been squatting forever. The muscle has a certain maturity to it. So your mind needs to be able to mature. So I can't be all over the place. So, I have to focus on that one thing. And then when you see how you focus, it's just really weird. You focus on it long enough, it brings about a greater understanding of how that focus is. So it really gets bigger than what you think. It really does.
There's a saying that I use. It's called dominate, then diversify. If you're going to do that, but you got to dominate in one aspect of it first before you can do anything else. It kind of sounds like what you're saying, but
it is.
Those are the 2 sayings I say all the time: dominate, then diversify, and then evolve or die in business.
Yeah. Because you look at people that have diversified investment portfolios, right? Did they start off diversifying, or they started off with 1 or 2 niches that got them to where they are? You have to look at, again, go back to history. Where did somebody start? And before they started diversifying, you have to hone in on your craft, no matter what it is. Yeah, and if you're passionate about it, it'll show in the work you put in.
How was being a medic in the ER?
I loved it. If I had to go back to a job, and it's funny, my mom still has the article written when I got my paramedic license.
Oh, that's nice.
The Daily World, for all the folks in Opelousas out there, the Daily World newspaper, there was an article written. My mom still has that same article with my name, new paramedic student. And that got me to where I was able to work as a medic in the ER in the medical center. I loved it, man. That adrenaline rush.
It's adrenaline. I was going to say, I bet it's adrenaline.
What? And it was, the Houston Medical Center has some of the brightest minds, I swear. Them Friday, Saturday, Sundays in that ER, running codes, you had 3-4 codes going on at one time, and it became so rhythmic. Again,
is that stressful? The code?
No, because you know what you got to do going in. So they kind of train you a little bit. And as a paramedic, I was able to see things on the street. You get into a control setting where you know what you got to do. It's like, if I'm a run point, I know what my guy at forward is going to do. We know what the play is before time. Football, same way. You know what that 2-minute offense is going to run. We know the plays we're going to run. We know the defense that we're up against. Let's go. And it's just, that's why Brady, Breeze, all them cats are so good, because they knew their opponent. Let's focus on, and there's no fancy plays. When you get too fancy, Andy Reid, that's where you got messed up. Yeah, you got too fancy. You got to stay fundamentally sound. Teach that in football, right? Fundamentals, we got to get back to the fundamentals. Why did you leave them in the first place? And that's sports, business, anything. The fundamentals will always rise above. Watch what's going on right now with this inflationary market. Watch what's going on social media. All the hype that was going on pre this inflationary market. See who lasts now. Because if you don't own
I like that.
That's the kicker to me. And I guess we'll segue right into that. COVID hits 2020, right? How does that change your business? How do you evolve?
Okay, so COVID hits, and we're like, okay, what do people need? They're not making money like they used to. So the entrepreneur thing is going through the roof. You got to grind on your own. So how can I make something out of nothing? How can I make $1 out of 15, right? So shout out to Pac. So I'm gonna go into what can I teach people? Base level, here's how you start a business. What are you good at? How can you make a dime online? Let's just stick to the basics. And you say something about preparation. Forget the LLC S Corp thing. Foundationally, you need to start preparing for this stuff right now. How can I make $1 and build off of it? Because when this COVID thing passes, you got to build off of that foundation, which is whoever built during COVID that has a foundation will definitely take off. And the whole, ranting and raving and yelling at people at 1 a.m, trying to sell your ebook, that ain't flying no more because that ain't making nobody no money. Right? How can I really build off of something so I can grow and actually be at scale?
All that stimulus ran out.
I think it's deeper than that. So going back into your business, there's an influx of all kind of people that, whether by choice or by force, are forced into entrepreneurship, which is running a business, owning a business, essentially making money without an employer. Okay. And so then opens a market for your business to explode. I'm sure it did.
It is now.
Yep. And so where, let's just say, for example, if Mario works at, I use one of your old jobs, you worked at Walmart?
Yeah, I worked at Walmart.
Or works at a pest control company before, right?
Okay.
So you got young Mario, 19 years old. Something happens, his job goes away, but Mario's got a little kid he's got to feed. He's got a young wife. They got to pay apartment rent. What does he do next? And that turns into, you want to always say everybody goes legitimate, and sometimes they don't, but a legitimate hustle has to have a foundation too. And so you come into play there.
I give people some of the wildest advice when it comes to that. You have to build a business, but you might want to go work at Amazon for a minute. Because Amazon just bought the Cortana Mall in Baton Rouge. It's going to be one of the largest distribution centers out there, period. You might want to go hop on one of these Amazon trucks. You may want to get the bills paid, because you can't build if you're not creative. You can't build if you're stressed out trying to pay the bills. Downsize your life. Okay. What do you want to survive or you want to flex?
Yep.
Which one you want?
We're in a world full of flex.
Oh my God. Yeah. So when I'm on consultations with people, they get real. So I've been on consultations with social media influencers you would not believe, and I would never put their names out because there's a confidentiality with that. And they're like, I can't do this IG thing forever. What do I want to do this? How do I do that? All right, keep running this, keep giving them value, but you may have to get another job on the side to pay these bills.
What do they say when you say that?
I get this look like, I know you telling me real, but God, I don't want to hear that right now because I got this certain clout, and I don't know if I can curse on the podcast, but I'm like, fuck your clout. That clout ain't gonna get you to last, because I'm telling you, when this market, everything's quantitative easing is all this dumping into the market of money. So that was for all the free cash, the PPP. Shout out to y'all that messed it up. But again, if you wouldn't have messed up PPP, if you would have had a solid business, everything goes back to solid. The SBA assumes that you have a plan. They assume you're setting yourself up as a good business. So for those that are wanting to get into it, it takes time to get a foundation together, to understand the market, and to go out and get it done. Now there's ways of hyper growth, because I can teach you what I've done over 16 years, how to do it in maybe 3 or 4. So there's ways you can get around those bumps. But until the bills get paid, until you get at break even, then you start to profit. You may have to do a few things to get them bills paid for right now.
You go live a lot. Why do you go live so much to talk to your followers?
If you're not consistent, and I know this before social media, there's directors of Chamber of Commerce. I'll always go back to them. If they don't see you in those seats often enough, they don't take you serious. And this is real world. They're not going to take you serious. Even if you're on the block. If you're not consistent in putting your product out, somebody else going to take your spot. If you're not consistently in the gym, if you go to the gym, every gym you go into, high school or 24-hour fitness, whatever, right? There's a cat that's consistently doing chest and tries on this day, back this day, legs this day. The consistency will get you there. So I have to be, and it's on my schedule, I don't know exactly when I would go live because again, my highest and best use of my time is for my clients first. But if I don't consistently go in, the Instagram algorithm will not keep up with me. I'm gonna be bottom of the pole. How can I say I'm the best business strategist if my strategy isn't to be in front of you enough? So I think I can even do more, honestly. I think I can be more efficient with that. I could do more. Clubhouse has been great for that, you know, so I'm consistently out there because I know I got to build that brand up enough. So when I do back off, I want to take the cream of the crop clients and build with those, you know, which is allowed us to, was a client in California now. Through being consistent, he's got a $450 million acquisition with his electric vehicle business, you know, and that wouldn't have happened if he wouldn't have consistently seen me. And there's clients I can't even bring up because they're kind of, you know, off app, if you will. But you got to be consistent, man. That consistent, not grind, but the consistency in executing your brand is what you do before you even market. Now, I'm going to put out my first funnel in probably a week or two. We've done no marketing like that, or no Facebook ads, none of that, because it's all cold market. I don't want to just throw out a product and hope you buy it and then get buyer's remorse later on. I want to really touch people, and most of my clients are professional women. So I've been on consultations when they're breastfeeding, you know, and got baby here, kid there, taking notes. I'm like, God says you really doing it. So I feel for those. And my grandmother told me, be a champion for the women, but you got to protect the culture. So if you people do business when they know, like, and trust you. We always hear that. But how you gonna know me if I don't show up? How you gonna like me if you don't get to know me? And how you really gonna trust me on everything if you don't see me putting in work, see me being faithful to my wife and kids, see me showing up every day? I mean, that's the consistency, because you can't lie for too long. After a while, it's going to show up, you know.
What do you think's going to happen in the next couple of years? You know, we're predicting a little gloom, a little doom, possibly, right? What happens to the entrepreneurs that are not necessarily building their foundation right, and they're just jumping into it because that's the wave of things to do right now? What happens in the next couple of years?
The real dogs will survive because they'll find a way to survive. That's very few. Look back at past history when things have taken a turn. The Lehman Brothers crisis, right? Those who were in real estate that couldn't survive had to go do something else. There is a inverted yield curve situation where, and I see it happening with the war, has the market very volatile. You have situations where they're tapering, pulling back those bonds being bought, so there's less liquidity in the marketplace. And you have to have a solid foundation for those who are not building right now. This is the calm before the storm. Because COVID was one thing, but they gave you paper to last. They're not going to save your ass right now. No. There's nobody to save you right now.
Not this go around.
No. And that's why I push so hard for people to get bank ready so you can be ready for the marketplace. It's not just about getting money. That's fine. But it's how much money do you really need? What do you need? How does it need to work out for you? So what I see happening is a lot of these NFT projects are going to be funky in the next 30 days because all that free money is going to be pulling out, and solid, fundamentally sound businesses like your Apples and your Microsofts and even your oil companies. When oil hits about 115 right now, 120, it's going to be nasty. Every time oil gets that high, the market will. So there's a lot of indicators out there that at the end of the day, a solid quality company, a solid build of a company, who are you serving? What product do you have that can last through now and then after this thing? Because it's going to tank to a greater extent. Then who's going to come out? You know, are you understanding blockchain and crypto? Are you understanding just the economy at large? And who are you serving? Right? If you can cook, get in that medical center and start serving these lunches up because they want to get good food. And there's so many.
It's funny you say that. They need it right now.
Yeah, man. I'm
My wife's in the medical center. Yeah.
Oh gosh, yeah. So if you can focus on third shift, free game, baby. I'm not gonna give your secret away. My wife's a chef, but these kitchens close down at a certain time. These third shift nurses that get paid that differential, they go to McDonald's and stuff like that at night. They would love to get a good. What? You can pull up.
Talk a little bit about what does it mean to be bank ready?
Being bank ready, don't let the bank fool you. Yes, it's a good logo, but you walk into the bank and say, "Hey, Mr. Banker, I need to get $100,000 for my bank, for my business." And the banker's like, "Okay, cool. Let's look at credit, past history, whatever. And what are you going to use the money for?" Well, no. On paper, where's your research? Let me see, because the person giving you the money is not the banker you talk to. It's the underwriter. That person you don't meet. But who's your representative at the bank who's going to say you get this money? They will look at your plan. They will look at how are you going to use this money, right? For a larger extent, venture capital, investor, family, anybody. Then once you get the money, how you introduce that to the marketplace. So being bank ready is just not being bank to the bank, it's being bankable to the marketplace. How do you go out and actually take this $50,000 or $100,000 and make it work? Oh man, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do no, don't tell me nothing. What on paper, what are you gonna do? So you can actually start to measure those goals and quantitatively say, I'm gonna do this month, this month. I'm gonna invest 50, I'm gonna make this off of it. And then it'll help me pay the bills. It's called break even. And when do you start to really profit? And then when do you hit net profit? What's your effective tax rate in there? Because this is inflation and taxes are going up. How are you hedging for that? That's got to be in your plan. And that's just basic stuff. We ain't getting nothing hard. What's your profit and loss? So Bank Ready covers all of that. We get you with a CPA, show you what an attorney looks like. We help you build a team and help get that mind ready on paper so that you're not so fearful. Because the less fearful you are, it's documented. The documentation and the research and the preparation helps you not be so fearful when you're going after the things that will make you fearful. So how do you prepare for this inflationary market? And I guarantee you there's hardly any business coaches out there teaching that. One, because they haven't done it. So forget the whole falsely in prison thing. I mean, if you can have a successful business plan written in prison, then we can talk. Outside of that, don't give me no YouTube, don't give me no fluff. Bank Ready is a tried and true, trademarked, patented system that works. I didn't invent it. I just took the best of what works and works for the small entrepreneur who can turn around and have a $450 million business if you want. Everybody's business isn't the same, but being bank ready is having that plan and knowing how to execute it long term, not just right now.
Can we talk about your real estate portfolio real quick? Like, from like all your doors to like your complexes and everything.
We're building probably a 35 unit complex out in Carrico right now. We could probably got about 20 units as far as just some that we've ARV'd or bought off market, rehabbed a little. And we got those as rentals, a little over Houston, but most in Louisiana.
Most in Louisiana.
Yeah, a lot in our backyard. I haven't done a lot in our portfolio because we've been focusing heavily on the whole business coaching piece. Now we're going more multifamily because we're turning into a renter nation. So we're looking at probably having about 120 doors by the time the year is over.
Cool.
And we're focusing holistically on that Section 8 market. Develop some relationships there. There's a waiting list a mile long. It's like, okay, if I can get the land, secure that, that's an asset. We do commercial funding, so I can do my own funding now, right? So we can set that up and take care of our own doors. So
it's a tough subject to go to, but you know what you talked about. We're going to renters. I mean, it gets harder and harder in this world for people to buy homes. I want to go back to being bank ready. Obviously, this is your business. How does an individual who's seeking out assistance, seeking out a mentor, how do they go about getting a hold of you? Where do they go? How do they sign up? What is it that they need to do?
So the best thing to do is coach10k.com. Coach10k.com is our digital card. So you'll have all of our links that are there. The top link to the left is our minority certification class that we're holding on this Monday, actually at 7 p.m. That's a good starter. It's $49 for the class. I'm not trying to bank the bank, but that class will teach you everything you need to know about minority certifications. Every other link from our Clubhouse link to our Instagram, our LinkedIn, Twitter Spaces is all on that coach10k.com link. If you want to get a one-on-one with me, I have a link for consultations. Those are fine. 30-minute strategy call or a 1-hour deep dive. You get me one-on-one, and I really can diagnose what's going on with you within 30 minutes to an hour. Getting the Bank Ready package, it starts out with the Elite Bank Ready package, and that's on our website, thecoachaustin.com. That's what you've heard me talk about online here and there as far as being bank ready. You have to have a customized plan. You get me for 90 days to even longer. We meet twice a month. So if you're in that bank ready family, we meet twice a month, at least 2 hours at a time, and we do heavy deep dive consultations for everybody there. It's almost like a little group family setting. And I put you in position to take that plan, take your business and go out and deal with the Chamber of Commerce, deal with people that's in your industry. No matter what state you're in, you're bankable to the marketplace when you're done with Bank Ready. Because the goal is, and we didn't talk about this earlier, A lot of people want public and private, even government contracts. Being ready for the capacity for a government contract is being bank ready. And I have 5 government contract companies that I work with, and they know what bank ready is. So when you're done with bank ready, we turn you over, you're certified, you got your plan, you know your capacity, you know your numbers and how to hit the market. And then when you get with those guys, they work with you to get the proper contract for your business to go long term. One contract can definitely change your life because this isn't small pennies, but you need to have capacity, and that's what bank ready does for you.
Some of your clients range. Give the range of the type of work that they perform. Like, what do they? Who are they? What do they do?
Clients, we have clients that are chiropractors, physicians' offices. They own minor ERs. Some are real estate developers, electric vehicle manufacturers. Some are run their own universities. Mm-hmm. Some are local teachers who want to have a small nonprofit and give back that way. We have a nonprofit. Shout out to Jay Thomas. Becoming Kings and Queens is our nonprofit. We go into middle schools and high schools and teach financial literacy. We teach entrepreneurship. Our goal is for them to have a LLC and an actual executable business plan by the time they graduate high school. Mm-hmm. But we have a vast number of clients that span from healthcare, engineering, architecture, real estate. It's all over. So for us, business is business.
Yeah. So no matter what you do, whether you cut yards or you
got a few of those.
Yeah. Or develop, huge real estate projects. Mm-hmm. I feel like the type of mentoring and coaching that you offer is something that anybody can benefit from. I've been in business a long time. I feel like I need to have a conversation with you.
Yeah.
Just to just to run things by you. So I really appreciate that. Again, it's thecoachaustin.com, and you can find him on Instagram at Coach John Austin, which is Jean. Yes. Coach John Austin on Instagram. Mario's got a
minority report first.
So I touched on it a second ago. I like to ask these questions because I like to pick everybody's brain. I want to know what's coming around the corner, and it's been something that I do all the time. Mm-hmm. But I do this thing called the Minority Report. Okay. Right. We talked about it earlier. You got all these entrepreneurs in the marketplace. Mm-hmm. You got anywhere from Turos to Airbnbs to there's a guru around the corner everywhere you look now. Mm-hmm. There's tons of business coaches. Mm-hmm. And so I like to, as we're talking, you're vetting yourself, right? So going forward, coming into 2022, I think everything was shiny and nice in 2019. Mm-hmm. I said in 2019, I think things are going too well. 2020, things actually went extremely well, and in the middle of COVID. So what do you see for minorities going forward in the next 1 to 5 years?
If minorities can get their businesses structured properly, get them certified, and get in the room where there's other minority supplier companies that want to work with you, they need to work with you. There's multiple mandates out to where larger companies, mid-cap companies have to work with minority companies. That's why I push the minority certification so much. If you're in the spaces where traditional business happens, Instagram's relevance is going to die off in about 2 years. Mm-hmm. Is what it is. TikTok is where it's at. LinkedIn has their own.
Said that here now.
Yeah.
This is what are we here? March.
Yeah.
5th?
Yeah, March 5th.
March 5th. Okay.
Yeah, watch Instagram's relevance, not the actual app because it'll still be here, but its relevance will die off in 2 years-ish. Look at what's happening with LinkedIn. It's always been around. It's evolving. Look at TikTok. Instagram is fighting with TikTok to catch up. Mm-hmm. When you're the one fighting the juggernaut and you're capping on him, you're going to fail sooner than later. Facebook, you're going to leave that alone. Yeah, it's a whole thing. So for minority businesses, we have to see where is the money? Mm-hmm. Where's the money at? This infrastructure bill, trucking companies across, there's so many things that touch the infrastructure bill. Read the damn bill so you know where the money is at. You follow the money, you follow cheese. USAspending.com. USAspending.com. Free gem. Okay. Shows you where all the money's at. And if you're certified, it's like having a degree. If you're not certified as a minority business, you're still competing with the white male-dominated industry. It's not going to work for you. Not out the gate. Why are you trying to fight something you don't have to fight? Get certified and start getting in these rooms with these minority development councils, which is why I'm having a class Monday, to make sure you're in the room. They want to work with you. They need to work with you. one of my clients went to the last recent procurement department meeting, no business plan, no nothing, but she knew how to move in that space. And she had conversations with VPs and CEOs of companies. Her mind's still blown. She's like, oh, I'm good now. And no inflation, no nothing will knock you out. If you're not, as a minority business, still in the streets kind of figuring it out, you're going to get washed up. You will get washed up because they have a plan for you.
Good advice. Good advice.
I'm going to do it either or. You got to pick or choose one.
Okay.
All right. Coaching football, coaching basketball.
Football.
Lawrence Eggleston or Doug Dupree?
Lawrence.
Love
you, Doug.
Lawrence Eggleston or Ian Dunlap?
Ian.
Okay. Chris Synagogue or Marvin Mitchell?
Chris.
CEO Matty J or Poppy Chulo?
Oh, man, why you doing me like that? Pop, man.
Pop?
Yeah, Pop's my guy.
For you know?
Yeah, Pop's a good dude. Pop's got a story. Pops is brilliant.
Yeah.
People like low key mess with him, but nah, Pop's straight up brilliant.
Like he was at the dollar store and now he's like,
man, yeah. Pops. I met Pops in ATL at a mastermind, and met Matty J too. Again, Matty, I love you, bro. But Matty did that document in the process. I mean, Matty is but just something with Pop though, man. And maybe just cause from where I'm from and just to see how he got there though. And they all great brothers though. I mean, everybody you mentioned, but Pop is just, I can't say the stuff that he does is just brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. And anybody can touch it.
He's like a supermarketer.
Man, supermarket, and the way he knows his industry. And again, collapsing time, doing more with less. You ain't got to figure this stuff out, man. And if every salon, beautician, esthetician, whatever in that space just tapped into the man's program, listen, again, and get yourself some life insurance, by the way. Yeah, just a good gem. Because if we had life insurance when mom and pops would pass, imagine Mom Dukes and all them would pass. You had a $500,000 policy on everybody, and you kept it in the family trust. We wouldn't have to worry about stuff. And insurance companies have lawyers. When you start capping on us, those that do, and try to take folks out, them lawyers would come after that money because you're taking that too much money. Again, that's a whole nother story. I'm just trying to throw it out there. We need to have life insurance.
Okay. On that, real quick, term, whole, universal, which one? What, all three of them.
Get with an insurance agent, and they will tell you what works for you. I don't like term because it has a time frame on it. For me, I like the index life policies. There's a way you can, there's an investment model in that. Yep. Honestly, I think that would be a good jump off. But again, there's debate for all of it. Yep. But at least an index life policy where you can invest on it, hold it for a little while, pull something off of it, make some moves with it, and you can still keep it.
You got another one?
Okay. Louisiana or Houston, Texas?
I'm a boot man till I die, bro. But look, I couldn't claim Houston for a minute because I just felt weird wearing an Astros jersey because I'm LSU Saints till I die. I cannot wear Texas. I love y'all though, for real.
You got a pair of boots?
Yeah, well, look, I've been trail riding in that for a minute.
You got a pair of boots, you good with me.
Yeah, yeah, man.
Wholesale and the flip?
Flip.
Rental property, Airbnb?
Short-term rental.
Short-term?
Yeah. Airbnb is a brand. You got to understand short-term rental. The cash flow model is sick.
2 million followers or rental property?
Rental property.
Rental property?
Oh, yeah.
Commercial building or house?
Commercial.
Money or equity?
Equity.
850 credit score or $1 million?
$1 million. $1
million?
Yeah, because I can get my credit fixed.
Yeah.
And I can take that million.
But you know, a lot of people choose the 850 though.
That's fine, but what you still got to walk into the bank,
correct,
and ask for the money.
Yeah.
If I had the money, I can hire me. I can go get some property and put money down on the property, buy an apartment complex, up the rent $200, cash out, refi that money. That's a non-taxable event. Out of $1 million, when I hear $1 million, I'm thinking 10.
Okay.
So the credit score is cool, and I can do that without a credit score.
Exactly.
Absolutely. I don't need a credit score.
Absolutely.
I can find you with a credit score. And that's the thing with money. When we start to understand how money works and how equity works, like give me an apartment complex like the one we go. So I'm building an apartment complex in Karen Grove. They call it North Lafayette now. So everything's moving there. I got built-in equity on the land before I even break ground. I got the lady that's with the housing authority that's going to fill these Section 8 apartments. I'm getting Section 8 rent. That's guaranteed paper. I can buy an apartment complex here in Houston, fix that puppy up, raise the rents, normal market rate. I can even kind of raise just a little. Cash out refi. Now that's cash that I can use for another project.
Okay.
And I didn't have to touch a dime.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
We appreciate having you on the show.
Appreciate you.
Thank you so much, man.
No doubt.